Hi there, welcome back to our channel Wise Wings. Today's topic is personal finance journey. So we picked this topic to share with our viewers our personal journey about finance and uh, what worked, what didn't work, and just take you through and provide some information about ourselves. So,
Hey, what's your name, by the way?
oh, my name is Jeeshan. Thank you.
Oh, hi,
What's your
Jeeshan.
name?
I'm Maya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Maya. Oh wow, how she always does this.
All right. So, Jeeshan, when and how did you start becoming aware of your personal finances?
Just last week. Kidding. It was late in life because I was a big spender. I was spending a lot, and though I sort of had good earnings and spend a lot of money, there was a time in my life that I really had to take control of money, and it happened that time that I had to be aware and actually take control of personal finance and had to put a structure around it. So before that, I didn't really have a structure.
You're just winging it.
It was just winging it all over the place. Credit card, more than 55 days payment, interests, and it was very open and out there, and that's I had to shift from that and create a structure around it.
At what point do you think did you go, okay, I need to look after my finances? Like, what happened around you?
This happened a few times, so a different level.
What was the first time?
First time was...
So you can talk us through some milestones, but when was the kind of first personal awareness?
When I was going through a relationship breakup. So that's when it's the first time, because I really did not know what was happening in our relationship. The money was controlled by the other person. So that's when I had to take control, just to understand and start from the basic what was happening. There was mortgage payments, there were car payments, and just to understand, all that. So that was my first one.
Okay.
What about you? When did it all start for you?
So I think I shared this with you the other time, and it was kind of unintentional, but in high school, I wanted to hang out more with my friend. So she chose accounting, to do accounting, like year 10, 11, 12 kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, I'll just join you because I didn't know what else to do. So I think from there, and I didn't really appreciate it until more recently, but that's when I was introduced to general accounting terms and principles of how to speak about money. So income, expenses, assets, liabilities.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that great at it, but I was aware of it. And then I eventually ended up working in the bank as a teller.
Yep.
So being there, most of my working life has been around banking and finance. So it's definitely grown there. So I've definitely learnt a lot on the job.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Journey. Different.
Yeah.
So that it is very earlier than when I sort of taken over of understanding, because my parents were looking after. Then I got into the relationship that took over. So when and that's the things that you learn. Are you still applying that? Is it still?
I think it's there. Like, I know I can tap into that kind of mental resource and knowledge at any time. Like, I worked in like the branch of the bank for a while, and then in the mortgages, and then in the superannuation space, touching on like a bit of credit card, insurance and stuff. So it's kind of just fed my overall financial knowledge, literacy, and well-being, I guess. And there's a lot of things we use day to day, credit cards, bank accounts, blah blah. But you might not necessarily know how it works or how to best use it. So just being in the bank, I just see what people do, and like, oh, there's these perks, and the banks offer this, and a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of things that they can use to their advantage to help manage their money better.
Absolutely.
So I can't not know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, what made you to grow more or to be more advanced?
I like shiny things.
She does. I know it very well.
So I think, like, until I got married, I was living at home. So whatever I made, generally I got to pocket it and use it. Um, and there are times where, I'm just going about my life, going out, eating out, whatever, and you'd build up some savings. And then there's times where I knew like I wanted to go on a holiday, so I'd be intentional about saving and not, going out and shopping too much or whatever because I had that intention. So that's like kind of one small aspect of starting to want to grow. So I think when we create different life goals, that's when we decide I want more, and so I need to do more to get there. So as we grow, as we get older, we see things and realize that I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to have this, and then you start to think of how you can get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like
yeah, and that's an evolution in different stages of your life. You want different things. So I know I wanted different things, so I had to take different actions. Had to think of where could the money come from, and
how can I get it?
Yeah. What else can I learn to improve myself as well as my money skills?
Correct. Yeah. And I guess it comes from inspiration, like what inspires us, and we want to do that.
Yeah. That's right.
For you, it's the shiny things.
It's the shiny things. There's another thing where you might, like, I think I've seen people do cool things and they're like, I want that too. So, yeah, it's just little bits and pieces along the way when you talk to different people and you see different things are possible. But I like things. So I lost a lot of what I do, growing my wealth and stuff, is to have the ideal lifestyle that I want to live. Yeah. Experiences and as well as material things.
Interesting.
How about yourself? So the question was, when did you decide you wanted to grow more in regards to finances?
For me, the first was freedom. So my value is freedom. So I wanted to be more free. Freedom for living different places, experience different things. I love exclusive holidays and experience and going to the restaurants. So I needed to think like, I need more money for that. I need more money. Most of my life, it's, I paid for things when I went there and, amongst friends. So there is a portion that I need to contribute towards that. And then I started looking like, how I can have it, what's the opportunity there, and is there any other opportunity I can have? So started to do different things. I wanted to live in, go overseas and not question anything that, think about. Wow. I remember first big Europe trip, I took a bank loan.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't have the money, but I went and I paid it off, but I made it happen. And that's since I had the travel bug, and I did travel a lot.
Yeah.
I do have to say. So that's where I think if you ask me, the first thing, it would be the freedom and travel. And with travel, I find a lot of freedom for myself. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. So next question we came up with is an interesting one. I'm sure everyone can relate to this.
Yes.
So did you have a breakdown in your life / finances? How did you feel at the time? What were you dealing with? And then what did you do to get yourself through or out of it?
Is it
Yeah.
your question? Ooh. Whew. I had a massive breakdown when I was in my late 20s. I was in a very big debt. So I was, splurging my credit card, traveling. So, yes, so it was a very interesting situation. I really did not really talk about it to everybody. I wanted to hide it from everyone, from family, friends, and I was very close to, going bankrupt with everything. So, but what I never gave up internally, to that this is the end, but it was a very stressful time just to organize what I needed to do, what's the possibilities out there for me. And it took me 2 to 3 years to recover from it, but I am so grateful. I've been through that because it has taught me so many things. I could relate to somebody who's at that point. I know what happens. I am aware of the behavior that I had in place in me that was driving to those sort of spending. That taught me a lot, and now I know that. Um, so I've come back from it, and I know that anyone can. And
Right.
but at the time, it didn't feel that. At the time, it felt really lonely, scary, not able to go for your dream. Didn't feel freedom at all.
Yeah.
It was very, very difficult.
So, what was the moment that you go, oh shit, I'm in a pit? Do you remember? Can you take us back to when you realized there was this massive breakdown in your life? Like, what was the moment you go, I have way too much credit card debt? Or do you remember that?
Yes. Then you can't meet the minimum credit card payment a month.
Yeah. So what was your thing? They were like, oh shit.
When I could not pay my credit card bills, when I could not pay my what did I have, a car repayment at that time? Yes. So I wasn't able to make the repayments. So that's when it started, and whatever I was doing and paying, the money was not coming down. So I didn't even know the art of managing the credit cards. Something you mentioned before, working in the bank, there's different ways. Those knowledge were very foreign to me. I didn't even know this existed. Yeah. So obviously my knowledge, I haven't invested in that sort of knowledge at the time. But yeah, it started from those moments.
And so with your comeback, what do you think was like the main thing you focused on to turn that around? What was the main thing you did? You got up and did.
So I brought all my, if it's how I did it, brought all my loans together. So I started looking for solution. That's the first thing. So I started like, there is a way out of it. I've started Googling, I started reading other people, what they've done. So I said, there has to be a way to it. So I found some solution and some options, and I took one of the options and came back for it. So it's probably the attitude, more resilience that I know I can come back. Plus, I wanted a better life so much more. I wasn't ready to give up.
Yeah, so big mental change before that impacts what you physically go out and do, right?
Yeah, so the belief of it that there are ways to it. Yeah, there's always a solution. Yeah. So
me?
Yeah. So let me repeat the question. Do you have a breakdown in your life and finances? How did you feel, and what do you do to make a comeback?
Okay, so this is to do with credit cards too. I didn't expect your story to be about credit cards, but for me, it's really recent too, like going just back a few years, and I was not, I didn't have a job. I was, pursuing the self-employment journey, but fluffing around, not taking it too serious. So not much was happening. And so my husband was working. But somehow we had collected like a few credit cards, and we also recently got a personal loan for a car. And then there was just one point where I don't know what triggered it, but one day I just started to look at, hey, we have all this debt on all these credit cards and this personal loan, and I just felt like we had dug this hole, right? And I'm like, how do we turn this around? Like, it just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And like, we're both responsible. We both let it happen. So it just got out of hand. And I guess it's tricky. So you need to be smart with credit cards, right? And anything really. But I think having the card, like a few different cards instead of just one card, help spread like the problem. Like the problem looked like little small fragments instead of like a one big thing. And then until you look at all of it together, you realize, oh wow, this is an issue. So I had that moment, had the conversation with my husband, and we're just like, okay, we can't keep going on like this. As the conversation pretty much sounded like that. And like, okay, what are we going to do about it? So we sat down.